record this. Hello, Kim. I'm so excited to have you on. Okay, so I'm excited because I haven't really heard all the deets of your story. So kind of just start by sharing a little bit about how you got started in the business and why you got started and when and all that fun stuff.
Absolutely. So, hey guys, I'm Kim. I'm not nearly as pretty in the picture that Kelsey put together for me, but it's okay. We're going to roll with it. So I am from New Jersey. I am 26 years old, and It Works found me when I was 22. That's turned 23. I was a senior in college. I didn't really have much passionate direction in terms of what I wanted to do for a career. I was in marketing, but there was just nothing that really tickled me where I was like, yes, that's what I want to do. And so I always worked multiple jobs, at the bar. I was bartending, I was serving tables. I was just doing anything to make that extra money while I was in school and kind of just putting off the real world. And that's when It Works found me, just through somebody posting about it on Instagram. I was watching her post about hair, skin, nails for 8 months before I finally was just stalking her. She earned a couple good bonuses. I reached out and I was like, okay, if this girl can do it, I could do it too. And I asked her and I joined. So it was interesting because my family and friends are just I don't know, we grew up, I think this for most people, you just grow up in an environment where you're taught to go to school, get a degree, go to, get a job and then work your life away and then just retire. Something in me that just wasn't exciting to me. And I think it's just a matter of that strength that you have and that intuition that you have. And to be honest with it, because I think most people just do that just because they feel like they have to. But for me, I was like, I don't know, that's just not for me, but whatever, I'm going to do it anyway. So I got a job in medical device sales, and was working 9 to 5 while doing It Works in the beginning. And because of just going to an event, well, it was the cruise. It was that first It Works cruise that happened. I earned that. And getting on that ship and being around
Gosh, we probably saw each other on it.
Really?
Yeah, that's so funny.
That cruise legit changed my life because I was around people who, I don't know, just gave me vision for the company that I can work from home and I could be home and have kids and work and do all the things that I'm able to do now. But came home, was like, screw this, quit my job. And I was a diamond. So it took me 4 months to get to diamond. But yeah, I was a diamond when I went on that cruise. And then I saw a much larger vision to do this full time, came home, quit my job after only being there for 3 or 4 months. And it was just game on ever since then. So it took me 11 months to go double diamond. And that's kind of where my journey got weird and just rocky, because it was pretty much all uphill to double diamond. And I was at double diamond. I mean, great money. I mean, I was 24, 20. Yeah, I was 23 or 24. I was making that kind of money. So it was great money. But here in the Northeast in New Jersey, expenses are a lot greater than the majority of America. And so I knew that if I wanted to have my own plate, do the things that I wanted to do, I needed to make 6 figures, which is triple diamond. So it was a really frustrating period for me because I was at double diamond for, I think, 2.5 years. And I wasn't just sitting at double diamond, guys. I was going down and up and back, from double to diamond to double to diamond. And then really low diamond, for a long effing time. It was so frustrating. Sorry, I'm from New Jersey, so my team's used to me cursing and stuff, so sometimes I forget. But yeah, it was so frustrating to me, and that's something that I don't know, it's something that's I'm super passionate about talking about because it was a rough period for me and being stagnant. So that's what I usually like to share about on Zooms if you guys have any questions about that. But was going up and down. And then finally, had a come to Jesus and a hard look in the mirror. And I was like, okay, something's got to change here. Figured out what that thing was and shot up to triple diamond just in, when was that? March of this year. And then that triple diamond team took me to presidential in August. So that leaves me to right now running for ambassador with Kelsey.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. So, talk about a little bit. So I'm like super, my team knows this. I'm like fly by the seat of my pants type person, but talk about kind of what you got figured out from double. Like,
Yeah.
what was it? Because I mean, I'm super big about just being transparent too, because I feel like if you go through something, like you're meant to go through it so that other people can learn from it and maybe be like, oh, I went over that speed bump. Why don't this person take the detour? Because then they don't have to hit the same speed bump. So just kind of share about like what that felt like. And, you know, when you had to take a look in the mirror, like what you really found.
Okay. So disclaimer, guys, I never stopped working between the time that I was double and like figuring everything out and like not being where I wanted to be, although it was hard mentally. And this is just the number one thing, guys. I never stopped working. I was always enrolling people. It just wasn't, just weren't my people who were meant to grow with me. And so that's just one thing that you definitely just need to know, because if you get too much into your head and pull back from the business, that's not going to get you anywhere. So I knew that. I was like, if I keep putting in work and keep working and working and working, like I'm bound to find my people, right? But the one thing that stuck out to me that kind of just made me coast upwards and is continuing to help me do that is I was holding on to people that I saw so much potential in, and not letting God give me the people who were meant to be in my business. And so I had my triple diamond chart printed out on like a dry erase board. It was huge. It sat in my room. I looked at it multiple times a day. It was like an extra body in my house. Seriously. Like I think and I were like, we didn't leave each other's side. And there were so many names on there that I was just holding on to, and people who were telling me like, yeah, I do want this. Yeah, I do want this. Yeah, I do want this. And, you know, like, oh my gosh, I would die to be a diamond. And, you know, oh my gosh, I'm just working so hard and not seeing like the benefits and stuff. I was holding on to people's potential instead of what was right in front of my face, which is the E-suite and the activity that they were putting in, because the E-suite doesn't freaking lie, guys. Like you go to your reports, you go to my downline activity, you know who's enrolling on your team, right? So I held on for those 2 years to people, emerging leaders and people who were in executive, Ruby, and even Emerald positions who I had either built there or were people who were just saying that they wanted it, but they weren't showing up to Zooms. They weren't enrolling. They weren't doing the things that were going to get me to that next level that I was dying for. So, that was the main thing that I was doing, and I was only hurting myself because these were good people too. I mean, they were people who I really wanted it for them, but I wanted it more than they wanted it for themselves. And, you know, I'm starting to see even like a shift in my team now with like people who like are either like teetering on, who really want it, and people who are putting in activity every day. And that's okay, guys. Like people go through seasons, but you'll know at the end of the day who is in your E-suite enrolling and who you are meant to grow with. And I was just holding on to people who I loved so dearly and wanted it for them so bad for so many reasons. I was holding on to them, but they weren't willing to put in the work. So it was just a big game of like me placing with them, or like, you know, just going round and round in circles, but they couldn't find that breakthrough themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, so when I let go of them, I mean, like I speak as though I like fired them or something. We all have our own businesses, but I had to have like a mental funeral for them in my brain. I had to be like, okay, Kim, it's all right. This person isn't meant to grow with you, and you know, you're going to find somebody that is. And as soon as I kind of erased the chart clear of the people who I was holding on to, God literally placed people in like left and right, and like the abundance just started raining down with people who were willing to match my work ethic.
Yeah, I love that. Something that I heard another leader say one time was, yeah, you want to run with your runners and walk with your walkers, but also know that the people who run aren't always going to run, and the people who walk aren't always going to walk. They're going to be in different seasons of their life. And so it's important, to know that it's not like you said, like, it's not like we're firing people, but we're knowing where we're going. And when you have that clear vision of knowing where you're going, you don't really care who comes. You're like, hey, listen, I'm going to cross country. If you want to come with me, hop in the car, and because this is where I'm going. But if not, like, you can catch the bus. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So I think like when you get very crystal clear about where you go, it doesn't matter. Like, you're not biased about, and that's something that you learn over time, right? Because when you hop in the business, you're like meeting all these amazing people, and you're like, oh my God, I love all this person, and I love that person. And you just want everybody to be best friends. But you realize there does come a time where, your business has to take priority. That's why we joined, is to make money. And you can still love on people. But a lot of times, like you said, like, you're not just hurting yourself, you're actually hurting them too, because you're not letting them grow, and you're not letting, because they're going to, like, I know for me, like, I enrolled with Erin Tweed, and if she wasn't where she is now, I don't know if I would have thought it was possible for me to do what she's doing. But now I'm like, oh yeah, I see her doing it. If she can do it, then I can. But I watched it. I mean, when I joined, she was a double diamond. And so if I'm like, oh yeah, she can get to triple 2.0, like, I sure as heck should be able to get to press.
That girl is insane. I love her.
I should be able to get to press 1.0, right? So I think that, you have to be like the captain of your ship. You have to know like where you're going. And I think a lot of that will come, like you said, like, he's gonna make room. You're gonna make room for him to give you those blessings.
And dreaming bigger too. It's been like huge. I know has been another like next level shift. After hitting that triple, just like you mentioned, just being crystal clear and sharing that with the people, who are watching you. And then once they see you like start marking things off your dream board, your team is going to be so inspired, and they're going to want to go and do that too.
Yeah, for sure. The quickest way to kill a dream is to tell a big dream to a small-minded person, right? So it's really important that, you're sharing it with people who are ready to receive it. But, you guys are going to get to the level. I mean, I'm at the point now where if I told something to somebody, I'm like, yep, this is going to force you to level up. Like, I don't really care what you have to say about it, but I'm just telling you so you know. But, when you're just more fragile when you first enter the business. And so like, you're like $100,000 in savings. Like, what is that? Like, if I could just make $100,000, I'm good. But your brain will literally expand. Like, it's crazy. Your brain will literally grow bigger, and your dreams will grow bigger. And it's like a muscle. You have to use it. It doesn't just happen. You have to be around those people who show it to you. So tell me what a day-to-day life looks like for you. Like, what is a day in the life of Kim?
Okay, so if we're being honest, no, I'm just kidding. Like non-negotiables that I do, I mean, this is my only job, guys. So I don't have a set schedule, but I have non-negotiables that I do every day, no matter what time of the day they get done. So kind of just finding that timing that works for you. Obviously, I was working and I was a full-time student when I started, so it looked a little different then than it does now. But now,
can you run through like what it looked like then?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was chaos, but I just committed to it. I woke up a little bit earlier before my classes started. I commuted to school, so I just woke up a little bit earlier. Back then it was like a lot of posting before and afters and stuff. So it was like, I don't know, it was totally different than when it started now. So I don't want to give you my tips of what I did then because it won't work now. But in terms of like my timing and how I fit it in, I would just wake up early before school, and I would make sure that I got to school extra early so that I can sit in the class with like no interruptions while like people like kind of like filtered in. And I sat there and I make sure I got work done there. That just looked like posting and following up with people. I didn't like cold message or anything back then, but I was just posting, and there was no such thing as post to post. So I was just posting and I was following up, and I would just get that. I would squeeze that in my morning at however that looked. And then, gosh, guys, I was just such a bad student. I would just sat on my phone the whole time. It just worked because this is what like literally excited me. Like I said, I didn't have a passion for school. I wasn't good at it. I didn't love it. So I made sure that I put my energy in somewhere that excited me, and that was making money from my phone. So I just sat in class, and I just also just worked through class. I would talk to everybody in my classes about the products. I would drink my greens like in front of people. I'd be like so obnoxious. I'm like shaking my greens and everything. It's like I would be so obnoxious. I did things like that. And then I would also just, I don't know, like I said, I was a bad student. So I worked my business way more than I was a student. I just fit it in any which way. And then I would come home, get ready for work, guys. I would get in trouble I remember like just serving tables, and I would be like taking so many bathroom breaks. It was ridiculous. People probably thought I had like some serious issue going on, but I was just like in the bathroom all the time, like hiding in the stall, just doing whatever I had to do to get that diamond done. Like it didn't matter what it looked like. There was no like regimen or anything. I carried that diamond chart around with me everywhere. I know that in order to prove to my family and friends that I could quit this job, that I needed to go diamond. And $2,000 a month. I mean, I'd never experienced anything like that before. So I carried that thing around with me everywhere. Everybody knew what I was going for. Like I was just so loud about it and excited. And the people who are most successful in my organization right now are the ones that are excited. Point blank. It's like, seriously, like it's really not that hard. You just have to seriously keep your excitement up and show up to Zooms like this and get your fire lit and be around people who are excited, not people who are just like moseying around and are complacent where they're at. You need to show up to things like this so that you can get your fire lit. And so at nighttime, despite carrying my chart around with me everywhere and like sleeping with it under my pillow, I would make sure to watch a training video every single night before I went to bed, because at that point I was just addicted to the business and I was just so excited. So I would just YouTube different Zoom, or I don't even know if Zoom was a thing then, but like different successful leaders at the time. And I would just watch their channels and really just stay close to, because my enroller wasn't so hands-on and she's no longer in the business, but I kind of had to learn for myself. So that's something else I could talk about too if you want. I don't know if you have people who have like lost their enroller or didn't have an upline, but that was me for a long time. I'm on Ashley Sinclair's downline, but I was 13 levels deep. And every single person now between Ashley and I is canceled. So now I'm right on her top. But I had to do that kind of without guidance. So I just made sure to commit to it, guys. I know what I wanted and I just ran with it.
And honestly, I mean, your upline can help you. Like I had Erin and she was great about answering some questions, but like, I always say like YouTube taught me 95% of what I know, because like, I did the same thing. Like every morning before work, I would literally just go and listen to YouTube videos. Like Jade Hooper was my jam. Like I just listened to her all the time. And I was like, okay, yes, if you can do this and put sheets up to save some freaking electricity, then like, I'm for sure good. Like I'm gonna do this. And so, and like, she was looking like a hot mess. Like, and I'm like, okay, like I'm doing this. If this person can do it, so can I. So I just think you guys, like, it's just a choice. Like, and I know it sounds so simple, but it's a choice. And, I said something the other day, somebody, as I was like, it's crazy because we always talk about like, oh, one decision changed my life, but it's not one decision. It's you choose it initially, and then you have to choose the business every single day after that. Like, because you can choose to just not work your business. But if you choose your business every single day and you make that choice to commit to your business, the excitement will come. But you can't expect to wake up every single day and be excited. Like, I don't wake up and be like, I get a message to a lot of people today and I get to do this. Like, not every day. There's some days, but it's not necessarily going to be like all the time. Like, and that's where knowing I get excited about the results. I get excited about knowing how much money I can make and knowing that there's no limit. But like, I don't really want to focus on, oh, well, I'm not excited because of X, Y, and Z. And I think like we're always looking, right? Like the forbidden phrase is my team blank, unless it ends with a positive, but like we always want to blame other people. And the real deal is like, nobody else is going to care as much about your success as you do. Just period.
It's so true. It's so true. Guys, I have naysayers for days. Like if I even told you like the crap I've had to go through to just mentally to just block them out. Ugh. It's
I
crazy.
know. It is crazy. And it's not even necessarily the people that are like so obnoxiously hating, like those people you're just like, that sucks for you that you're that miserable. But it's the people who just like throw the side jabs in there, or the people who are questioning the business that are even in the business that make you kind of be like, oh, well, did that happen to me or whatever? It can be those little things, but like I said from the beginning, when you know where you're going, nothing can stop you. Like
Absolutely.
nothing will stop you. And I think like I remember my husband asking me, and being like, cause I think this was like right before I went Ruby, and he was like, "How far do you like really think you can go with this?" And I was like, "I'm going ambassador," and he just like kind of was like, oh, "Okay," and I was like, "No, like I'm serious." I was like pissed at him for like not believing me. I was like, "It's fine." So it's just funny because like even though like I didn't know how it would happen, like at that point I had like 4 people on my team, which but I was excited about that. And my first check was $34, you guys, but I was hyped about that because I was like, I can roll through Starbucks and grab me a venti now. Like I didn't have to worry about that. So, one of the things that I want you to kind of touch on, Kim, is now your day, go through that first. Like what are your non-negotiables that you do every single day?
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk making money, like income producing activity. I'm all about it. So, um, every day, wake up, and I know it doesn't sound income producing, but I do a devotional every morning. Where is it? Oh, it's right next to me in bed. It's called Jesus Calling Morning and Even Evening by Sarah Young. There is something so powerful, guys, about getting your mind right before you even leave your bed. Like it is crazy. So this is like a total non-negotiable for me. I don't go a morning or an evening without reading it and getting my mind right. I am somebody who didn't really have her faith before starting It Works. I'm not here to preach on that, but I'm very grateful that It Works brought that to my life, because now I am just like a more calm, walking human being with a bigger purpose than just making some more money. So I didn't really believe in self-development. Like, I don't know if I didn't believe in it. I didn't think I needed it when I started, and I thought it was just a big load. So if you are on the Zoom, guys, and if somebody has been telling you need to do self-development, like they mean it, because it definitely changed my business. So that's the first thing I do every day. My 6 list is just engaging with people always, all the time, because it's just with the algorithms and stuff, you want more people seeing your stuff, and more people, people are going to buy you before they buy the opportunity or the product. So you want to make sure that you are at least spreading the love, so that people are going back to your page to see maybe what you're about. Stranger or not, guys, I build 100% cold market now. So that's something that is a non-negotiable for me. Spreading the love, flirting with people of both genders, like literally just like spreading the love. So that, devotional or self-development, whatever that looks like for you. Engaging with people, growing my network. So making sure that I am always have a new pool of people seeing my stuff every day. I'm pretty sure, guys, you probably all know this. It's just about a matter of like who does the most of it. It's really what it comes down to. So that, making sure I add people both on Facebook and Instagram. Again, always having fresh eyes on my page and new people to interact with, because we are in the business of, spreading the word. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to hit those people.
Can you kind of give us numbers? Like, okay, so you interact, like, do you spend X number of time doing that? Or is that just kind of something like, how many people do you add a day? Like, I feel like the problem is like, I have a lot of people be like, yeah, I messaged 30 people. And I'm like, today? And they're like, no, like I've been in 15 days. And I'm like, okay, maybe I didn't do a good job of like explaining this to you. So like, just because I think sometimes it gets lost in confusion, and then people think, oh, if I message 25 people, 25 people are going to respond. Right.
Right.
And so kind of just showing people like what that number looks like. Okay. Non-negotiable. Before I lay my head on the pillow, I have to message X number of people.
Yeah, for sure. When it comes to following people, it's really just like a muscle memory at this point. Like there's no number. The limit does not exist. Like I just do it like whenever I have a second, which I have a lot of seconds now because of the freedom. But I follow so many people, like hundreds, like not just like 35 or whatever. Like I just try on Instagram to make sure that I'm always following so many people. So the limit does not exist in terms of following. And then my next non-negotiable, like you touched on, was messaging. So we're just like doing so well with host to posts on my team right now. So I've really just been concentrating on host to posts on Facebook, pretty much just green light messaging going down to anybody who's active on my Facebook. And today I sat down and did a power hour and got the first power hour I did 20 just to like warm my Facebook up because I hadn't been messaging in a while. But I mean, guys, you can get out like 40 messages in 5 minutes and just be like, hey girl, have a question. Hey girl, have a question. Hey girl, have a question. And so we've been doing a lot of that. So I mean, again, like there really is no like number, but just really as many as I possibly can. Like if I could ask 100 people to host a post for me that day, like that's a huge win in my book. But we always say that there's like a 10 to 20% percentage back that you're going to get from the number that you put out. So if you are messaging, say 100 people to host a post for you, maybe only 10 to 20 of those people actually will. And then from those host to posts, you guys know not every single one's blowing up, and it's all just a numbers game. So, I teach my team to message 100. If you can do more, that's great. But yeah, power's in the numbers, guys. And if you're constantly bringing people into your network and friending them and all that stuff, the more people you have to ask. So just asking people to host a post, that's been another non-negotiable for me. And then following up every single day with the people who I talked to yesterday, like putting as much urgency on following up and getting them while they're hot, because the more time you let pass between the initial contact and their interest and your follow-up, guarantee you're going to lose them and they're not going to come back until like the timing is right for them. And you never know when that might be. So why not be in control of that and just have them order sooner than later? But yeah, those are my non-negotiables right now. And posting, obviously, blowing the stories up with all of the Black Friday deals and all that stuff. I'm just always going on the story. That's something where you don't have to feel bad about blowing it up. You know, like a lot of people are like, I don't want to post, like I'm scared, whatever. Like for some reason, it's just way less intimidating to just do it on the story all the time.
Yeah. And like, seriously, sometimes my stories are so long, like the things like this big, you know, like at the top where it's like the ticker. But no, I totally agree. So yeah, we talk about like the core four. So posting, messaging, following up, and making sure that you're interacting too. So like all those things, like we do a lot of the same things. And then obviously self-development. I was the same way with self-development. I was like, I'm not suicidal. Like I don't need to do self-development. Like I'm okay. But, you know, that's like the time when you need to do it, because you guys your income will never exceed your self-development. And that's why if you've ever seen people who win the lottery, it always goes back to where they were before. Their income always goes back to where they were before. It's just because they don't have the capacity to have that money. And there's a saying, and my team hears me say it all the time, but you could put all the money back in a big pile, all the money in the world in a big pile, and it would go to the same people, because that's just their money mindset. That's how much. And so you have to grow that. Like we're not taught that. Like you said, like we're taught to go to school, get a degree, get a job, come home, make dinner, and do the repeat. It's like, that's what we're taught. And, you know, we're supposed to live the same year over and over for like 60 years and call it a life, right? But yeah, that's not.
I'm all set on that.
Yeah. So I think that it's just like adjusting your mindset into knowing that, you know, there is more out there, and just because it's different doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. But when you hear it from more than one person, you know, and you get to listen to other people who have been successful, you realize like, no success is going to come without a little bit of controversy. I always say you can make an impact or you can be liked by everybody, but you can't have both. Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's about a large part of that is I think so many people are afraid to be true to that and to own that, and are just way too influenced by others or society. Like, I don't know what it is, but some people have a harder time than people like me and you know, who are just, but that's again where self-development comes into play, and just making sure that you're true to yourself. Like you have a passion. If you have that desire to stay home, do it. Like do something about that. Like God put that on your heart for a reason.
Yeah, I think so many times too, people let fear creep in, right? Like people don't want to say that they want something in fear of not being able to get it. Because if they say they want it and they fall short, right? That's kind of embarrassing or whatever. But I think so many times we have to realize that what are you losing? Like you can go after it and have the possibility of falling short, right? It's like shoot for the moon and you land among the stars type thing. But stop limiting yourself based on what other people will think of you, because
You're just full of one-liners and I love it. Like you're like, I wish I could just like put you like carry you around and just like keep feeding me all this inspo. I love
no,
it. I love
like so I'm just like so big on self-development. Like I tell
it.
people like I don't even care if you stop the business. If you're doing self-development, you're going to be a better person than when I found you. Because it's so true. Like it just enriches every aspect of your life. And it doesn't even have to be like, if money doesn't make you like inspired, like if you're not like, oh, I need to make this amount of money, the money that you make will influence so many people, you guys. Like, it's like Pam Souter. I was at Alyssa Bilyeu's retreat, and she was saying that she's like, you don't even realize the trickle effect. She said that realtor that she used, she recommended to Mark, and he bought his island from her, and recommended to Cammie. Cammie bought our house, and so like literally. And she said that it was crazy because a realtor called her and said, you literally just changed my life, because now my husband is able to quit his job and do his real passion of owning his own construction company. And now it's like one of the most reputable construction companies in Florida. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like you don't think about those things that like, you're like, oh yeah, well, I feel greedy. Or you think about all the negative things that come with, the, oh, I'm making too much money, or I don't want to feel greedy or whatever. But you guys, there's so much money to go around. There's so much just amazingness to go around. And if you can bless other people, like I give back more now than I used to make in 1 year. I give back in 1 year more than I used to make in 1 year. And so don't think that it's selfish to want more, because when you want more, you're inspiring so many people to see that it's possible. And so I say like 99% of people don't get what they want in life because they don't know what the hell they want.
Yeah.
They don't know. And me and you, we have to go through that growth too, where, okay, we hit triple, we got what we want. We're making probably more money than we ever thought. And we had to dream bigger and go to Prez. And now that we hit Prez, like we have to readjust and we have to think about what do we want now?
Yeah. If you stay, if you're not always dreaming, like you'll never get to that next rank. Like you have and Ashley taught me this, you have to think the scariest, like whatever's on your heart. Like she'll ask me hard questions and be like, what amount of money will make you like poop your pants? Like what is the number? And I'm like, and you think, and you're like, okay, like, you know what that is, but you almost don't want to say it. You have to start speaking it. You have to start
so what's your number?
On it. My number,
Yeah,
50 grand a month would make me probably poop my pants. And that's what I told her. I said 50 grand. And it's scary, like that's something that it just doesn't make sense to me how that could even get deposited into a bank account in one day. Like it still doesn't make sense to me. But the more I say it, the more comfortable I am. And the better my circle is getting to. Like I'm finding people who are also dreaming bigger. Something else, guys, actually it's weird. Whenever I'm on a Zoom, it's always in the background, and I don't even do my Zooms from here all the time. But there is a Post-it note right here. I don't know if you could see, but it's a blue Post-it note that's right here, and it's above my bed. And when I was, guys, in January of this year, I was paid as a diamond, like one of my lowest diamond checks. And that's when I was kind of in that funk. So January 2018. But what was on my heart, guys, was I wanted to be top 75 this year. And this is really scary to even share this with 65 people. My team knows this.
Wait, hold on. I muted you on accident because I had to mute everybody. Unmute yourself.
Okay, got it. So I put that Post-it up, guys, on January 1st, 2018. Do you think a struggling diamond, could even fathom being in the top 75 of the company, guys. It's scary, but when you put it out there and you look at it every single day, like, it's just strange how the world works. Like Pam Souter says, we don't know why the law of attraction works, but all we know is that it does work. So wouldn't you rather be in control of that and put it out there so that it happens to you, rather than not believing it because you don't know why it works? Like, so I put that out there in January, and in, I think, June, they came out with numbers, and I was 120 something. And I was literally like, how in the heck did that even happen? Like how did that even happen? And there's a good chance that after hitting presidential and the rest of this year, oh my gosh, it is like, I'm probably like right there, but there's a good chance that I might be in top 75 for conference. Like, it's just these things that you need to just put out there and get so uncomfortable about, whether it's your fears, or like Kelsey said, like whether it's your fear creeping in and you're just like not sure if it's failure, like just writing down those affirmations and kicking your fear to the curb, or just like putting your goals out there and seeing them every single day. Guys, there's a reason why I went diamond in 4 months. It was because I carried the damn chart around with me everywhere. There's a reason why I'm getting closer and closer to top 75 in 2018 as a struggling diamond in January. It's because I put it out there. I look at it every single day. It's just like, it's there. And I have Post-its everywhere, just bringing abundance into my life, and helping other people. And it's just crazy how your brain figures out a way to make it work.
Yeah, it is. It is really, really crazy. I put like on my board, like top 100 this, like for my vision board in December. And like probably like 2 weeks later, I got the email that I was like 98 as like a triple. And I was like, what is happening? It's like so bizarre, like how that works. And like, literally if like I heard somebody say, like, even when I talked to Aaron for the first time, and Kyle, like I actually knew Kyle before Aaron, and I asked him like really rudely, like, how much money does your wife actually make? And she was a double diamond at the time. And he was like, she makes between $8,000 and $10,000 a month. And I was like, no, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. But if she makes half of that, that's cool, because I could probably still make $500 to $500 a month. But like, if you would have told me like where I'm at now, like I would have been like, what? Like, and I tell people, like, I always knew I was going to have a lot of money. I just didn't know how I was going to have a lot of money. And I definitely didn't expect it to be this. So like, I was like, you, like pharmaceutical sales, like whatever is good, like however I'm going to be like making some money. But now I get to use like all my strengths. And so my whole point in saying that is, it's a process, you guys. Don't feel like, oh, I just joined, I have to feel like I need to be in the top 75. Like, no, you don't. But what you have to do is push yourself a little bit further. So if a number to say like, oh, I want to make $2,000 a month, double it, say 4. Like, just say 4. And, tell yourself in the mirror, like, I am double diamond. Like, I am a double diamond. Like, it's going to sound really freaky at first, and you're going to be like, this is some voodoo crap. Like, I don't know what I'm even doing right now, but it happens. And and I was just talking to my leaders about this, is the leadership is literally your attitude, right? Why do you think that a lion defeats elephants? A lion is not smarter than an elephant. A lion is not bigger than an elephant. But when a lion looks at an elephant, it's like, that's my lunch. Mm-hmm. And an elephant looks at a lion, they're like, oh gosh, and they're nervous, right? The only thing, the difference is the attitude. The lion is not the biggest animal in the jungle, but it has a different attitude about it. And so have a different attitude about your business. Know where you're going. And if you want this to work, stop letting other people's opinion creep in of what you can do in the business. Okay, now I'm getting all preachy. Okay, Kim, next question. next question. Okay, tell people what, besides your devotional, like what different self-development you did. Like, you watched your YouTube videos, like for the first probably 4 months in the business, right? Like first 4 months in the business, you watched YouTube videos, and then now you're doing devotional. Like, what are some other things that you would have people do?
Yeah. Well, I still am always so plugged into what everybody else is doing. Because this business is always going to be changing. So that's something I actually never let go of. I might not do it every single night, but whenever I feel stagnant in my business, I will open up YouTube and plug in a leader that I am inspired by, and I will watch one of their YouTubes. Like I'm always trying to keep everything fresh because like I said, what?
You have to be like a student of the business.
Yeah, it's just like, and you always have to be learning, and you can't just be stubborn in your ways. You know, like what worked for me 4 years ago is not going to work for me this year or next year either. So I just, being comfortable with like being always learning. And, you know, I've seen people feel like they didn't, like they almost missed the Instagram train, or they missed the host to post train, or they missed the whatever because they were just too scared to try it. But you always have to stay on your toes with trying new things. So I am always watching YouTube videos still. And just staying, you know, inspired by people who are doing really awesome in this business. And people come and go and leaders come and go. But as long as you just stay close to the fire, you're gonna always be growing yourself. So, yeah, that's really good for that's just a really healthy aspect for my mind. It's just like I get energized by other people who are doing well. So that's my thing. I love staying around that. And that's why I'm always going to events too. But that's another story. Like I don't miss one. So that's that. I also listen to audibles. Like when I get in the car, I do not listen to the radio. I make it a point to only listen to audibles in the car. I am obsessed with Grant Cardone. He is the author of The 10X Rule. And right now I am finishing up his book, Be Obsessed or Be Average. He's kind of just somebody who just has, I don't know. I just love listening to his voice. It's like so like hard, and I don't know. He curses stuff, so it gets me going. So that's that. He's a nice swift kick in the butt when I need one. What else? When I first started, I don't know how many people are like brand new, but the first book that I read was You Are a Badass. It kind of just prepped me for that law of attraction type mentality. Grant, here, I'll put it in the chat. Grant Cardone, his name is, and The 10X Rule is his first book that I listened to. And then who else do I love? I love listening to podcasts from Stephen Furtick, like in all of his sermons. They just apply to life so well. Who else? I don't know. I have a list. Oh, if you're a leader, you should be, if you're like Emerald and above, I have been reading this book called Multipliers. It's really awesome. It's about how to make the best leaders, make everybody, how you as a leader can make everybody on your team smarter. So not necessarily like practicing duplication, because that's the goal here. We all want a team that's filled with people who can duplicate and, you know, eventually lead their own teams and all of that. But this book is really good if you're a leader, in terms of bringing out the best qualities in your leaders and kind of just pulling that out of them and, you know, letting everybody, because you don't have all of the strengths, you know, as one individual, you don't have all of the strengths, but between all of your teammates, like you could pull that out of people and they can pick up for where you lack in your strengths, making like one crazy ass multiplying team. So I've loved this book. I've been reading that on the plane. And then I read another book too that I love. It's called Start With Why. So if you're a little bit confused as to where your purpose is in this business, this is another book that I have, by Simon Sinek.
Simon Sinek, he's on YouTube. Go YouTube all of his stuff. He's really good.
Is he?
Yeah, he's really good. And then another leadership podcast that I love and I'm obsessed with is Craig Rochelle. He's actually the founder of YouVersion, the Bible app.
Oh, let me write that down. Craig Rochelle.
Yeah, Craig.
I'm always looking for new stuff. And I get bored so easily, so that's why I love audibles, because I just don't have the patience to sit down.
I think that's how you spell it. It's a little bit, but he even gives you like notes. If you go to, it's GROESCHEL.
So yeah, I do it like in the car, in the shower. I have like a speaker, You know,
I
just as
just
I'm
bought
making
one of those on Groupon.
yeah, as I'm like what I'm doing like anything, you know, putting clothes away. I just always love having that stuff in my brain because it just keeps me um on point. And then something that I had always been bad with was procrastination. And gosh, it's just something that is so hard to kick because if this goes back to, I mean, like I mentioned, I was just not a great student. So this went back to years and years of like to my childhood where I would just put everything off because I didn't want to do school projects and I just didn't love it, didn't find purpose in any academics. So I I would always procrastinate, and it took a toll on my business when I did go full time with It Works because I had too much time on my hands and I would just start to put things off. So the 5 second rule really helped me with that. It kind of helped me kick that. So the 5 second rule by Mel Robbins was an amazing read for me.
Yeah, I love and like so and everybody learns different, you guys. So if Audible isn't working for you or if you need to sit down and read a book or whatever, like try different things. Like don't think, oh, self-development isn't for me just because like the first podcast you listened to sucked. Like, okay, like try different things, right? Like just because somebody made a bad version of mashed potatoes doesn't mean that mashed potatoes suck. It just means you
I
just
can't
have
with you. I cannot with
to
you. I
freaking
cannot.
just switch the freaking recipe. Like change it up, you guys. Don't be so stuck that like in label like, oh, it's self-development. That just didn't work for me. Like it works for everybody if you try different ways. Okay. Um, okay. So tell us about like just a typical message conversation. Like how do you seal the deal? Like give us your best tips for just conversing as far as I want to talk about distributors first.
Okay, sweet. Well, I was going to say this loyal customers or distributors, but 100% with distributors, I have just done voice messages like crazy. Like there is something about hearing somebody's voice on a I don't know, like I didn't even know voice messaging was a thing before It Works, and a lot of people tell me that when I send them one, they're like, "Oh my god, that's actually so cool." Like I didn't even know that like we had that feature on iMessage. So, potatoes. I know. You're funny, Kelsey. um so okay, like I'm like squirrel, potatoes, you know what I mean? So distracted. Um, I just, I mean, oh, I'm doing a lot with distributors. Like I'm not like messaging for distributors lately. I've just been making sure to tell my story in so many different ways that I don't know, I'm blue in the face and putting attractive photos with it and just kind of having people come to me because what I've found is that when people message you for either products or the opportunity, they are going to be way more serious about the business because you're not introducing it to them for the first time. They have followed you long enough where they are just like, all right, I'm done watching. I need to know what this girl's doing. So I have kind of stopped messaging for distributors and just having, you know, things go through my polls and, you know, reaching out to them when they vote on my polls or if they comment on a post or something, but just talking to them, just saying, hey girl, you know, just saw your vote on my poll. Like I always ask how much extra money are they looking to make? I love asking questions like that because it gets them believing that they can one by one. So like, you're just like, they're sitting on the other and just kind of nodding their head, but you're almost pulling the vulnerability out of them so that they can't say no when you tell them it's $20. But they, you know, just asking them how much money would help them breathe at night, you know, like what's that amount of money that would help you breathe? They'll give me a number, or they'll just say, you know, anything would honestly help me. And then I just give them that affirmation like, well, that's awesome. No matter what number they choose, well, that's great because we have a rank for that. Like I have a roadmap for you, and just making them feel comfortable that I'll be there every step of the way. So just saying something like, you know, that's, and again, just getting them to text message as soon as possible so that I could voice message them so that they can hear the sincerity in my voice and the excitement in my voice for them. So just saying something like, you know, that's awesome. You know, that's what I started for, or, you know, that's what a lot of people on my team make. I've helped a lot of people like make that amount, or, just saying we have a roadmap for that and just letting you know that we are going to show you every step of the way, no matter what. And then I always love to put so much stress on what they get in their kit and making them see the amazing value it is, whether it's $20 or $99. Like, guys, I would pay thousands of dollars to be given the opportunity that I have, like, just knowing what I know now. And so $99, guys, truly, like, it's all in your attitude. That's a steal for what you have your hands on. And you have to truly believe that. And that's what's going to that's what's going to get people to realize the value in this business and trust you even more. So just letting them know, like, it's $99, but you get so much with that. You get, X amount of products in your kit. You get catalogs and coupons to show your family and friends what they get at discount. You get my one-on-one mentorship. You get a team full of supportive women who are going to be cheering you on. You're going to get your website, and with the website, like, this is my favorite part because we don't have to deal with inventory. You don't have to put hundreds or thousands of dollars into your business and then just have it sit in your house and hope that it resells for a profit. Like, you have a website, girl. Send people your website. They purchase from it. Boom, you make money. Literally that simple. And when you tell people, like, what they actually get with that $99, like, and just hearing that excitement, because I always do this through voice text, and telling them all these awesome things that they get. How can they say no? I mean, there's obviously people say no to me, but, like, I mean, I don't know. It's just, I feel like I sign a lot of distributors because I'm just excited for them, and I'm just kind of giving them, because most people don't join because they're fearful of something. So just kind of going over all those fears before they even get a chance to tell me. And then they're like, oh yeah, I was kind of worried about, carrying inventory, or yeah, I was nervous about, like, having to buy hundreds or thousands of dollars. That sounds like an awesome deal. And that's what the majority of people come back and tell me.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So somebody asked, what apps do you use to put your story together?
Unfold, and that's it. That's it. Just Unfold is what I've been using lately, just to welcome my newbies. Like, here, I'll show you. I feel like everybody's doing the same thing now, but like, whenever I have a new, this is something
like over here on Word Swag.
Word Swag. No, Word Swag I do use, but not for
But I'm just like an old mom. It's fine.
My stories. Like, here's like one of my stories. Like, I make my coffee on my story all the time. So, like, I'll just do a story.
Happy Cyber Monday. I am so stinking pumped to share with you that our keto coffee, buy 2 packs, get the third one free. Oh my gosh.
So just going through, so, like, what it does. Like, I
have not been able to drink regular coffee ever since this. It is so creamy, so delicious.
So just, like, being yourself. Like, I was a hot mess when I made that video, but, like, I didn't put myself in that video, but they heard my voice and they heard my excitement. And actually, I just checked my poll and I had, oh my God. Yeah, I have like 7 votes on it with people who want more info that I need to message. So, just seeing that I'm using my products and stuff like that. But in terms of, like, shouting people out, that's something that I'm always very consistent with, is, like, whenever people are boxed in for promotions, whenever they get their shopping spree, whenever they join the team, I am so loud about it. And my team also shares each other's stories sometimes too. Like, if they don't have a teammate that signed up today, they'll, like, screenshot mine and they'll be like, oh my gosh, like, and they'll pretend like they just had a new enrollment as well, so that we're all just super loud about the small wins. And those small wins are just, like, they add up and people are watching.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. Any last minute tips that you would share to maybe somebody who feels like, okay, I started, I'm doing all the things that I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not getting results?
Yeah. Well, you just have to do more of it. We talked a lot of mindset today, which is awesome because that is the core of this business. We always say that, this business is like 90% mindset, 10% skill set. So, the first thing I would tell somebody to do in that situation is to get your mind right and to stop asking yourself the wrong questions. If you're walking around and saying, why is this person getting so many enrollments and I'm not? Or why am I not promoting fast enough? Or, whatever you know the questions. I don't know what goes on in your brains, but you know the questions that you're asking yourself, and just start to be aware of them, because those are the exact reasons why they're holding you back from whatever it is that you're going for, whether that be an extra $500. If that's like your first big dreamy goal, then that's why it's holding you back. So, it really is just such mindset. The thing is that I don't know Kelsey that well, but I do know her well enough to know that she has the tools for you. You know, she knows how this business works, and she knows what she's doing. She's presidential. And so she has all the tools that you need, and they are all out there for you. We are so one team, one mission, this company, guys. Like, it's everywhere. It's a matter of what you're doing at the end of the day, and how much you're doing of it, and just how committed you are to it. So in addition to just like making sure that you're asking yourself the right questions instead of the wrong questions, and making sure they have a positive spin on them, rather than that, you know, like feeling defeated kind of mindset, definitely stay close to Kelsey and make sure that you're just doing exactly what she's doing, because what she's doing is totally working. Another thing that I suggest that you guys do too is to find an accountability partner, whether that be on Kelsey's team or somebody else's team, sideline, whatever. My accountability partner, like, absolutely 100% pushed me to get to Triple Diamond and Presidential. So that's been super helpful for me. Just having somebody in your inbox at all times, kind of just shouting out wins and just sharing, you know, how they got their enrollments and all that stuff. When they don't benefit your paycheck and you don't benefit theirs, it's just really cool to see, you know, what you'll learn from that too. So just linking up and grabbing arms with people who are excited is really important. Just take care of your mental. At the end of the day, you know, all that to say, just make sure that you're taking care of your mental, and that you're keeping your inner circle you take your inner circle very seriously, because they will have a crazy impact on where you go in this business. So, you want an accountability partner? I have a team full of girls that want accountability partners. Maybe we can hook some up.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is like, knowing that, like, you are responsible. Like, Kim did not have an upline, like, for a while, right? And you know what? Like, she still made it work. Like, stop blaming somebody else for your lack of success. Okay? Because nobody else's responsibility is your success. We get to have team pages. Those are a luxury. We get to share this information. You get to have all that stuff. And so it's really important that you're understanding that nobody is responsible for your success but you. It's so much easier to cast the blame on somebody else, and I get that, than to look at yourself and saying, as much as I've been complaining, what have I been doing? Right? Like, it's so much easier to just be like, oh, my business isn't working because of this. And we can think of all the excuses of why this business won't work. But we have to remember why this business will work and why we will make it work. And this business will work for you because it's worked for thousands and thousands of other people. Okay?
Yeah.
And I know what it's like to quit. I've quit things before. But you know what? I want to know what it's like if I don't quit. I want to know what it's like when I just take quitting off the table and I just go after something 100%. And so if you're in that awkward space of, I want to be successful and I feel like I'm doing all the right things, but it's not happening. Number one is you have to reevaluate your expectations. Okay. So, like, how many people did you actually message? Let's look at what you actually did. And I was talking to people today about this, is start thinking about, what did I actually do today? Because I did this before, and Erin, like, I was like, oh, I'm not getting results. Like, I'm not rolling. And she was like, okay, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you write down what exactly you're doing at the end of the day instead of what you want to do that day? Because I was like you, Kim, where I was like, yeah, I'm messaging so many people and I'm interacting all the time and blah, blah, blah. And I like went back and counted my messages, and I had like sent out like 25. But I had thought that I had like messaged so many people, because it's definitely like, you just get caught up because maybe you did message like 100 times in one conversation, but you didn't plant X number of seeds, right? Like you didn't do all of that. You just like thought you did. Like I'm so guilty of that. You guys, I'm like, oh, I was so busy today. And I really didn't.
It's just so evident when people are working and when people aren't. Like, it's just so evident. Like if you're not getting results and you can't do it, you're not, you know,
you're not doing it.
You're just not doing it. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you're just not working. I don't know.
Like you said, just do more of it. And sometimes it does come with the attitude. And so like the first question people ask me, like, why isn't this not working? I'll just ask them, what are you doing for self-development? And so if you're a leader and you have people on your team that are coming to you with that, ask them those questions, but don't just jump. This is one thing I had to learn too, and this is really off topic, but I'll stop talking after this. But one thing I had to learn how to do as like a leader, like even at Ruby and before Ruby, is stop putting my problems on other people. So I knew why I was stuck at an X problem. And then when somebody would come to me with that same problem, I would just assume they were having an issue because it was the same issue that I had, when really I didn't ask them questions about their situation. So instead of being like, well, you're not doing this and you're not doing this and you're not doing this, you guys, a lot of people can solve their own problems if you just ask them questions. Like I still ask my diamonds and above, like not like in a check thing, but it's like, I'll call them and I'll just be like, hey girl, how's it going? Like blah, blah, blah. Like how are your enrollments this month? Because they need that accountability. We all need it. Like there's some months where I'm like, no, please, Erin, don't ask me about my enrollment. Like we all have that. But if you know that it's coming, it makes you want to work harder, right? Because if there's a back door, we'll always take it. And so just put these things in place and get your mind right and know that you are responsible for your own success, nobody else. And when you view this business as an opportunity, when you view these Zooms as an opportunity, like me and Kim don't have to have these. Like we don't. A lot of people don't have team Zooms they can plug into. So just be grateful for what you do have instead of focusing on what you don't, and so much more will come to you. Because when you start seeing the blessings, more of them come. It's so crazy. So Kim, I just want to say thank you so much for hopping on. You're amazing. I'm so proud of you. And I cannot wait to connect more and just learn more about you because you seem so fun.
I am a ball of fun.
Okay.
It was so nice meeting you guys.
Bye. Have a good one.